To realize one's destiny is a person's only obligation. I don't know about y'all, but I have read this book, I'm gonna say 3 times. I read it in its entirety 1 time, I started it once, and I ended it once. I didn't read this thing all the way through the 3 times that I read it. I've only read it all the way through 1 time. And I say I've read it 3 times because this book found me in a different way than most books do. Now, before I get into this entire video, I just want to say thank you guys for watching so far. This is our last episode of the Phenix Speaks podcast for season 2, and I'm just so excited for you all to be here and to be sharing this moment with me. I'm just grateful. I really am just like full feeling love, you know what I'm saying, from this moment, because it's been a journey, and I'm really excited that, you know, we get to end off on this note. And I'm also very excited to announce that yes, we are going to be renewing for season 3, and I'm excited to see where this brings us, because you're going to expect a lot of different things from it, and that's all I'll say for now. Today we're going to be talking about purpose, and you're probably thinking, well, we were supposed to be talking about seasonal depression all this season. The reason why we are going to be diving into purpose on this last episode is because one thing that I experienced when I was going through seasonal depression, but also just an extreme depressive episode that led to a lot of issues, and I talk about it in one of the episodes on this season. I believe it's episode 3 or 4. So the reason why I'm talking about purpose is because purpose is really what helped to bring me through what I was going through. It wasn't a matter of, you know, lifting me out, because that was God truly for myself and my personal experience, but my purpose, my destiny, you know, the things that I was supposed to accomplish and am going to accomplish in life. That's what really brought me through the moments where I was still on the brink, where I was still deep, you know, in the void, I'll call it. And so I realized that as we look throughout this podcast, we talked about multiple things. You know, the last episode was about optimism. We get episodes talking about just sunlight being an added resource for you while you're dealing with the, you know, physical effects of seasonal depression. Even the depth of where seasonal depression can look like. It can look like productivity in a way, but at the same time, the balance of emotion and other things can still weigh you down, even if you are still moving around, even if you are still showing up to work, even if you are still getting out the bed. Depression doesn't just mean you're in the bed, and it doesn't just mean that you're out and about. You know, these things look different for everyone. But I wanted to really reference this book here, The Alchemist, and the quote that we started this video off of, which was, "To realize one's destiny is a person's only obligation." Now, this book here brought me to a new perspective in my life. When I first was introduced to this book, I actually did not read it for over a year. I want to say I purchased the book, and my intentions were to purchase it and within that same week go ahead and start reading it. Did not do that. It took me, I would say, a year and 2 or 3 months or so before I actually dove into the book. And when I first started it, I didn't continue. I started reading it, I read like a chapter or 2, and then I like put it on the shelf, and I never picked it up until my grandfather passed away. And the trip that we took up to Philly when he had, you know, passed away, that trip was when I decided to take this book, for one, but for 2, I decided to read it. You know, if you're coming from Virginia to Philly, Philadelphia, for those, you know, if you're coming from that direction, you know, it's about a 5 to 6 hour drive, I would say, depending on which route you take and depending on how fast you're going. But I read, I would say, probably the first couple chapters on the way up, and I finished the book on the way back. And when I tell you this book was so necessary for my journey dealing with that, I realized just how impactful it was while I was reading it, because at that time I was going through, you know, I would say it was a precursor to the ultimate grief that I experienced later down that year. And when I read this book, the context and the story that it told was so specific to purpose, right? And it talks about destiny. It says, you realize that one's destiny is a person, is your only obligation. It's to your destiny. It's to your purpose in this life. What is meant for you is meant for you, and that's truly your only obligation, is to fulfill that in this life. And it's not to put on the weight of your destiny and of your purpose in this world. It's not to put that on your shoulders like Atlas, but it is to give you a sense of belonging, a sense of being, a sense of understanding. Why am I here? What is my purpose? I think the true thing about humanity is that we are all trying to figure out why we're here on this earth. What is our purpose here, right? We're just one day not, and now we are. And this our state is where we're trying to figure out what to do next. What does today look like? What does tomorrow look like? And trying to figure out all the in-between while surviving in a world that seems like it doesn't want us to survive. I look at this book as a model of, I would just say, the reminder of why you're here, because you can find beauty in your journey, in what it took to get there. right? Because you never know where you're going to end up. You just are going to end up there one day. But the reality of your situation is that the journey itself is what makes up the most fulfilling, the most memorable, the most important moments of your life. It's what it took to get there. I can make a painting all day long, but what was my process? Did I document that? Did I show that? Did I remember? Did I even ground myself in those moments? Because I know a lot of us can probably relate to this. There's times when I've personally done things and I wasn't in the moment. I was dissociated from what was happening, and so I'm just seeing the end result, and I feel a little discouraged, a little disappointed in what it came out to be, because I was not there during the process. I was operating in it, I was doing it, but was I there mentally? No. So the memories, the feelings of what happened, there's nothing. I think you can relate this a lot to people that have children. Your child is born one day, and then one day they turn 18, and you realize, wow, like this child is no longer a child, they're an adult officially. And I've spent 18 years with them, and that seems like the time goes by quickly. That's at least what I've heard. I don't have a child. But for that example, I think a lot of people recognize that time can slip away from you so quickly. And it's important that you take a moment to realize that your purpose on this earth is what you make it, is what you choose. You have a choice in the matter, right? Things are naturally going to happen, and I'm not going to say that that's not a truth, because I feel like that is. Things just happen in this life, right? The sky just skies. You know what I'm saying? The sun just comes out, right? Things do occur, right? But the most important part is, what are you going to do with the time that you have? And I want you all to be, introspective for a moment and just think about, what are you doing with the time that you have in this earth? What are you spending your energy in? I had a conversation with a friend literally yesterday about energy and where we spend our energy. And if you take it to the music industry, like we were talking about, people spend a lot of their energy and invest a lot of their energy into music artists and their work, right? And that's not a bad thing inherently. But how are you spending that time, and what is it doing to you? How is it affecting you, right? If you're spending a lot of your energy at a job or in a career, right? How fulfilling is that for you? And is your investment of time based in your choice, or is it based in your obligation to that career, to that job, to that person, to whatever? And a lot of us find ourselves in positions where we are held prisoner of our situations, of our realities. And I don't think that we realize how detrimental it is for us to make choices today, a choice to do something or not to do something. I talk about habits a lot in my lifestyle, especially after reading this book called Atomic Habits. Actually, let me show y'all. Okay, I lied. I don't know where it is right now. But I talk about this book a lot because that book also changed a mindset for me. I chose to look at that as an example of highlighting my life, highlighting my routines, highlighting the things that I pay attention to and I don't pay attention to, and realizing that life can be lived a lot more intentionally when you choose to do the things that really matter to you. And if you are going to invest your time into something, understand that you are literally investing your life into something. And it's just like money. You have money today and you invest it into something, you're going to want to get a return on that investment, whatever it may be. So just think about things, be introspective today, and for the rest of your life, really. What I want y'all to take away from this video is, as you are going throughout life, right, your day-to-day walk, your week-to-week walk, your month-to-month, year-to-year, I want you guys to take away the simple fact that you have a choice in the matter, period. You get to choose how you want to live your life. Think about where you're investing your time and your energy, and really, really be introspective here and say, is this leading me further away from or closer to the purpose that I have in this life? Whatever that may be, because I think a lot of us think we don't know what our purpose is on this earth, and to an extent, our purpose is larger than one specific thing, because we live on a daily timeline of events. But you'll know what you're here to do. You feel it. You'll feel drawn to it. You feel like, I can't spend time not thinking about this one thing, not doing this one thing. And that's a part of your purpose. It may not be the sole reason why you're here on this earth, but it is part of the reason why you're here on this earth. I want to leave you guys with one more thing before we close this out, because this is, like I said, the last episode of the season. And I just feel, I feel so grateful to share this moment with you guys. I wrote something back, and this was November 26th of 2023. I wrote this poem for the podcast, and I was originally going to make it before the year ended, but I thought it would be better spent at the very last episode. And since we're here, it's a perfect time to actually give it to you guys. So bear with me, because it's not long, but here it is. I wanted to record this video today, but I really didn't know which words to say. So I decided to write these words so true as I express my gratitude for you. I know that things may be so hard and open skies may seem so dark, but just as sure as dark skies eventually turn blue, I guarantee that you'll get through. Just take your time and find courage through this. You can set your pace and push on through this. It's a challenging journey. I never said it was easy, but once you set an intention, the rest just might seem breezy. As someone who struggled with this challenge, I speak from experience. The scales eventually balance. The weight gets lighter, the sun gets brighter, the wind blows faster, and the negative thoughts begin to scatter. I'm truly not sure where this message will find you, but I hope you know that I'm right here behind you. I'm proud of your progress, no matter how big or small. I'm rooting for you on mountains big and tall. If no one tells you today, then let me be the first. You deserve to get your flowers way before you're hers. You are appreciated, you are loved. There is no debate. Never let a motherfucker tell you that you can't eat your cake. I hope in life that you find peace. May God allow our paths to one day meet, but if we don't, that'll be okay. I just hope to share this moment with you today. This poem may sound mundane and strange. It might even seem childish, but I don't play no games. I know you need to hear this just as much as a tree needs the sun. I know you need to hear this just as much as we need air in our lungs. So my friend, as I bring this poem to a close, I wish you well today and forever. I'm so glad that you chose me to stand with you in times both good and bad. I'm grateful for the happy times and equally grateful for the sad. I hope this season meets you when it matters most. I hope that God shows you that you're not the concrete, but you are indeed the rose. Peace, love,